Would everybody like to stand and join me in the pledge to allegiance? Pledge
allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'll call the meeting to order, and I'd like to welcome everybody to the June 2012 meeting. And can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
I'll make that, Alan. Second.
Motion made by Jim, seconded by Elton to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passed. Can I have a motion to approve the bills to be paid?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Brent, seconded by Doug to approve the bills to be paid for the month. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. We were supposed to put public comment first, and I'm going to do that, and then we'll go down to the old agenda, because I'm waiting for Rob and Gussie to get here anyway. So at this time in our meeting, we open up the floor for public comment. Is there any public comment at this time? Yes, Alan?
Yeah, a couple of things I'd like to comment about, and the first being is I just noticed that a year from now, it'll be actually July 20th of 2013, will be the 200-year anniversary for the Battle of Cranberry Creek. And that being a rather important historic event that's not very well known about, I was wondering if the town board could take some direction as far as getting this as being an event where we could get some groups together like the American Legion, and since it involves some of our Canadian counterparts during the War of 1812, that maybe we could hold a memorial service to, as a remembrance of the soldiers that died on both the Canadian side and on the US side of that battle.
What's the board's feeling on this?
Well, it's a historic battle site, I mean, whatever.
Probably I'd get hold of the Legion. Work through the
Yeah,
Legion.
I let the Legion take care of it.
I'd work through the Legion.
Could I
Okay.
have the board's blessing to go ahead and speak to some members of the Legion and probably Chamber of Commerce and probably some of the other groups like I know the Masonic Lodge and the Rotary, to see if they want to have any involvement and try to put something together for next year to, you know, to have a memorial service
Sure.
to recognize the loss there.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. Anything else?
I see on the agenda is about the gas pumps over at the town highway department.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reviewing some of the notes that I made about a little over a year ago when I was meeting, and I noticed that fixing the gas pump metering system was on those notes over a year ago. Then I got looking back at further notes, and I see that, that approximately 4 years ago, the gas pumps over at the town farm were quite an issue prior to and after elected the supervisor election. And just, it started thinking about the gas pumps, the metering device being broken for well over a year, and the amount of controversy it caused 4 years ago. And I believe the board enacted an audit after that, which that it cost the taxpayers, what I'm seeing was around $8,000 for the audit. And I'm just wondering why it was so important back 4 years ago at the time of the supervisory election, but then we let it go a year and a half without anything being done to make repairs.
Been out of commission for 4.5 years, according to David Bain, who we met with.
Been out of commission since that audit.
They do work somewhat though.
Not now, it doesn't, hasn't for a year.
I thought you turned the key and it would register where the gas went.
They do nothing, no.
I mean, I just, you know, as a taxpayer, I'm seeing a big disparity about why would you spend $8,000 for an audit, plus bring up the issue during the supervisor election, but the thing being broke for 4 years, and it doesn't really seem like it's creating an issue or anybody really cares about it. And as a taxpayer, at the cost of unleaded gasoline right now, I think I'd be very concerned about where that gasoline is going.
Well, we are
And-
looking
and where
into
it's
it,
being
and
built.
we're trying to rectify the situation now. I can tell you that, the board started to look into it and take care of it.
I think it's a
It's quite,
situation
it's
that should be
quite an
rectified.
expense to fix it from what I'm hearing. It's expensive, and that's part of the problem.
$8,000 for an audit is quite an
Well, the
expense
audit,
too.
an audit, that's got nothing to do with that. The audit.
Audit wasn't for gas.
wasn't just for
No,
gas.
when a
It's
new,
town audit.
No.
when a supervisor, administration changes, it's good to have an audit. It's good for the one going out, it's good for the one coming in. That's why the audit was done. In the audit, that was an issue in there, whether it was actual or not, that, as you know, there was some controversy on it. But we have looked at, and some of these guys know better than me, at getting repaired, and it's a big item. So the plan is to get it going. but-
Actually, what I recall at one of the meetings was that the notice being put out for companies to bid.
I was just
Actually,
gonna
notice
say,
being put in the newspaper, and I don't recall seeing any notices even put out.
Well, that's one reason we're gonna discuss this tonight, it's further down on the agenda, if you notice.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, a year and a half to get notices in the newspaper, to even get a bid. I think that issue is a little more,
I asked a month ago that we put it out for bid. We agreed, I believe we passed a motion to put it out for bid. And now we're asking that the specs be drawn up so that we can put it out for bid. Because we need to take care of it, we realize that. At least I realize that, that's why I brought it up.
I didn't even know it wasn't working till recently, so.
Okay, anything else?
no, that's all I have right
Okay,
now.
is there anything else from the floor at this time? Yes, Jim?
I'd like to echo, I agree with Al 100%, and I think before the board spends any more money on anything, that gas boy, or whatever it is you're gonna use to control the gas being dispensed, that should be a #1 priority. Keeps everybody honest.
We've been saying that.
Yeah, so before you spend any money on anything else, I really think you should, take care of the little things first. For instance, instead of the geothermal. All right, you've got solar panels already.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah. Anybody else from the floor at this time? Yes, ma'am.
Is this for new business?
Yes, this is where you would come in, if you have a public comment.
Well, I have a request, we'd like to post signs at the boat ramps to protect our waters, prevent the spread of invasive species from lake to lake. We get a lot of boaters coming in the Goose Bay and other lakes throughout the region, and we'd like to educate the boaters, especially to clean their trailers to avoid bringing in invasive species, milfoil, other things to other areas, although it's pretty widespread, but as people work towards controlling these issues, it will be imperative that we educate our boaters to clean their trailers prior to dumping them into another lake or putting them into another lake. So we would like to request the board place some type of brochure or a sign at the ramps to help inform our boaters to do something about
Would
cleaning
you like to see the
boats.
copy that is at Black Lake?
Yeah.
Okay, and I believe they are at the state launching ramps,
Right,
those
but they're
notices.
not in the Goose Bay or the
And they're not
village.
at our.
Right.
We were wondering if that might be something that could be done.
I believe it can be.
Also, we're having, as you probably well know, we're having a real problem with Eurasian milfoil in Goose Bay, and we're talking about doing some harvesting. And we'd like to petition the town board if we could, harvesting around docks so people can get in and out, but we have to do something with the material. We were wondering if we could petition the board to put it on Barn Settlement Road. As you know, the stuff decomposes to virtually nothing after a few weeks. So we're at this point in time, we haven't finalized anything, but we've talked with a couple of people who do harvesting. But we do need a place to put this, so we thought maybe Barnes, the burn dump or whatever it's called down there on Barton Settlement might be a solution to our problem. And the stuff decomposes to nothing after. You can take a dump truck full and it probably in 3 weeks you could put it in a garbage pail. So I mean, it readily decomposes. It's 98% water.
Wait, I don't believe there's a problem. I'd have to check with the DEC and water to see if there's a problem with that. If you wanna leave me your phone number, I'd be more than happy to get back to you on that.
Okay, I can do that.
Sure.
I'll give it to you.
Okay?
Okay.
Is there anything else from the floor at this time? Okay, at this time, we'll go to the old agenda, some old business to bring up, and that's to seek approval for the geothermal. That was tabled at the last meeting, and it's in excess of, not to exceed $100,000 to proceed with this. There's a small grant on it of $7,000. Is this something the town wants to move forward on? Do we want to study it more? Do we want to think about it more? Or do we want to bring it up to a vote?
Not interested.
I'm not,
I'm not
I'm not
interested.
for it. Not ready this time. Like he said, there's other places to spend that 97,000 right now.
I agree. I think we need to look at the furnaces and put a replacement program together on the existing furnaces and just what you just showed us and think about propane.
Okay, can I have a motion from the board not to move forward with the geothermal project at this time? Stop it altogether.
I'll second.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Motion made by Elsa Bodine not to move forward with the geothermal project, seconded by Brent Sweet. All in favor?
Yes.
All opposed? Motion passed. The next thing on the agenda is a notice of a public hearing. And it's pleased to take notice that the town of Alexandria will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, June 13th at 6 PM in the town office, County Route 1, to declare its intent to submit a Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, through the New York State Consolidated Fund application process. The purpose of this set hearing is to hear public comments regarding the CDBG grant application due July 16th, 2012, in which the town of Alexandria will apply for $400,000 grant to construct municipal water line along New York State Route 12, section from Otter Street to Route 81. At this time, can I have a motion to open up the floor for a public hearing? Am I correct on that?
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it, too.
Motion made by Jim, seconded by Doug. All in favor?
Right.
All opposed? This time, the floor is opened up for a public hearing on the CDBG grant application for Route 12.
Looking close.
Okay, at this time,
Looking for public comment?
yep,
I got a couple of different questions, but first question is, as I understand the CDBG block grants, you can apply for up to $600,000 to do infrastructure.
That is
And
correct.
so the question I was asked, why are we only asking for 400?
That is correct.
Because I see the Route 12 corridor as a very vital link to future development in the town of Alexander district.
That is correct. You can apply for up to 600,000, and that should be corrected as such in the minutes of the public hearing. So you are correct,
Okay.
and it will be 600,000.
we'll be applying for 600,000
That's
instead of
correct.
the 400?
That's correct.
Okay,
The standard program is 600, but they do have a special allocation for this program for infrastructure for 600,000. We found that out after the advertisement went in, so we should be able.
okay. Was there another question to it, Alan?
Yeah, and I know CDBG is very closely associated with the LWRP. And I know the LWRP is in progress and worked on, but it's not in closure yet. And I know that is being done by a village. I would think it would be imperative for the town to urge the village to get the LWRP to this closure point. That being said, both the town and the village have applied for LWRP grants and have received them over the last 4 to 6 years. One of the grants is a combined grant doing with the construction of the walking trail on the back nine of the golf course. And I know that is not at closure yet. And at closure, what I mean is, these grants, the funds are available, but they're not turned over until the project's completed and all the invoices are turned in. So what happens is the two municipalities are doing the work, paying for the materials, but since they're not at closure yet, no funds have been received from the grant. So actually, the whole bill falls on the two municipalities. So I would like to urge both the town and the village to come to closure on that, so they can actually turn in the receipts and invoices for the work done. And I believe that's a $99,000 grant, so they can receive the funds. The other grant is a village grant, which has nothing to do with the town, but they applied for a LWRP grant to review their building codes and sign ordinance. And that has been done, but it's still not at closure because they haven't had the two required public meetings, and neither the ordinance have been accepted or denied. And I would just like to urge the town, to urge the village to bring that to closure so that the money spent and the hours allocated by both volunteers, board members, engineers, and anyone involved that's on the payroll, that can all be billed toward the grant, so that they can come to closure on that and actually get the funding out of the LWRP grant. Because I think it's more advantageous to have those long-standing grants at conclusion than to already have them open-ended when you're applying for more funding from CDBG.
Well, to get back to answer your question on that with the grants, I checked with Jane Rice, who's overseeing our LWRP. Our end's caught up. We're in good shape. The town is. It's the village that we're waiting on. And they have 3 or 4 more items to get done before we can move forward with the LWRP. On the back nine trail, we are just about closure with that. There's just some administration stuff that she has to go over. The village is lead agent on that project. And she informed me today that it's just administration stuff, and we should see closure on that within 2 months to get that taken care of. And that project will be done. So we're just waiting for the village to move forward on their LWRP. We can come to closure on that also. We're hoping to have that done by the end of the year.
A large portion of the expenses on the back, on the walking trail were shared services from the town that were
And the village.
done by our employees and with our equipment that we're gonna get reimbursed for.
And
Right.
I believe also everything involved in that, even the clerical office hours, can be
And
billed
the
out.
board
for
members' hours and
reimbursement.
everything.
Right. So, is there any further comments on the public hearing at this time? Yes, Corey?
What's your estimate, Dale, for water from Otter Street to 81? I mean, I know it's a small part of
We
it,
figure 18 months, do we, Rob?
The timeframe?
You're right.
or cost estimate.
Cost estimate. The cost estimate, the district was formed at a cost of $2.8 million.
And we figure we're about 18 months away from that, right?
Well, again, it's all a matter of fitting the funding pieces together.
Right, and that's what we're working on now. We're trying some different avenues, some different grants, applications that we haven't tried before because it's close to the border and there's some things there. Rob attended a meeting last night in Watertown. The Economic North Development, was it, Rob?
The regional council.
Right, the regional council. And what they like to see is job creation out of this. And so Rob was there to present our case for the towns.
Is there any USDA money committed?
Not
To
committed
this
yet,
one?
but they're a co-funder.
And I believe the CDBG money is available recurring every year.
That's correct.
So you can
Yes, it
take
does.
chunks of 600,000 this year, 600 next year, and you can start work on one end of the water line and keep utilizing, year after year to do more work.
Right. Is there anything else more to the public hearing? Okay, at this time, I'll ask to entertain a motion to close the public hearing? Can I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Motion made by Brent,
I'll second it.
seconded by Jim to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And Fourth Coast, you're here to answer some questions on the CDBG grant.
Well, I think it's self-explanatory, CDBG grant, again, it's a pot of money that's linked to this consolidated funding round that's due in July. You do qualify because of the median household income, you know, for the town of Alexandria, so we're making that application on your behalf as a part of the funding puzzle for the Route 12 water. Town of Orleans will be making application as well, for the portion that applies within the jurisdiction.
Yeah, I believe that that's a consolidated application process, so that those applications can all be included on one filing.
That's correct. But the two applications have to be filed separately on behalf of the two political entities, so.
Right. Okay. And you want to explain to the board on cost estimates you did on the highway department that on our
Sure,
vehicles?
what we did, this is a draft, we talked about this last time, just a summary of the equipment. Went through and, inventory basically, how many hours or miles was on each vehicle. Just a general, condition statement, and David can certainly better explain each individual vehicle better, but to give some sense for your fleet more or less, and some of the equipment that is obviously older and certain stages of use. So, the anticipated replacement year, we've got to work with David on that, try to come up with some estimates of our cash flow, but we'll at least share with you this draft so you can get a sense of the inventory, the starting point, so you can see one simple document what you have over there. If there's any questions on that.
Think it's gonna help us better at budget time when we get ready to do the budget, as far as equipment replacement and stuff like that?
Yeah. Give us an idea when we could cycle those old ones out the bottom and bring new ones in and.
Exactly.
It depends on how much they're costing you.
Exactly.
You might have an old one, that'd be a hell of a lot better than a new one.
Yeah, well, that's why they've got the, major repairs in the last 12 months.
That's right.
Many major repairs.
Yeah, there's some data here that still needs to be collected from
Yeah.
Dave on the repair side. He estimated what the annual maintenance, typical maintenance cost, and we plugged a number in, typical maintenance on a pickup versus a dump truck, but certainly, I think if the data from this point forward was kept in a way you could plug this in every year so you could track what kind of expense you had on each vehicle, it would help, definitely. So it's a starting point.
Any further discussion on that?
Unless there's
Board have any
questions.
questions for Rob?
No?
Okay,
Can I have,
yes, Jim?
what's the cost of this service that he's offering for this?
We spent a morning and an afternoon, I think.
But it'll be a reoccurring
It was in our
service,
last
right?
It was in our last meetings as to
I thought it
what
was
we.
$300.
Yeah.
Cost of what?
His service, to generate this,
Talk about for this particular
that
item.
report,
I believe it was-
and the continual service of reporting on, I mean, it's gonna have to be updated.
That doesn't necessarily have to be done by us. At this point, it's a template and they can update.
They can do it? Okay.
They can do it if they want us to, we'd be glad to, but.
Any further discussion? Okay. just keep you updated, the cemeteries are starting to come along, get in better shape. It was a little touchy around Memorial Day weekend, but they got done. They look fine for the ceremonies at the cemeteries, and they're looking like, to me, they're starting to get caught up and get them on a weekly basis. At this time, I have one bid to open up for repair of the wall on Walton Street Cemetery. That's the only bid we've received. I think that's something the board needs to take a look at this fall when we do the budget, is we set $15,000 aside in this year's budget for the cemetery. $10,000 was used to mow them. There's 6 cemeteries in this township, and at some time or another, they all need maintenance. And $15,000 to keep them up in an upkeep is not enough money. As we're finding out right now, the bids we're getting on repairing stuff when it gets damaged. So it's something I want this board to think about this when we get ready to do the budget this fall. This is from North Shore Construction, and to replace the bid is for the concrete cap and sidewalk material at the Walton Street for repairing the back corner wall plus removal of the tree. That includes anchoring the wall with heavy metal plates plus pouring a new concrete section of the corner. There will be a 5/8 rebar anchored into the existing wall running into the new concrete. And this includes all the waste and the tree disposal. The cost of the labor and material will be $1,500. If accepted, a deposit of $700 is required and the balance due upon completion and acceptance. And this bid is good for 190 days. So that's $1,500 to repair that wall, and the wall,
1,500?
$1,500.
You better take them.
Oh, wait a minute.
Right, it was 19,000
Yeah.
last week.
You're talking about on the
He
sidewalk?
left a zero off. there.
That walk and up and back on that,
What you and I went and looked at?
yeah, it's $1,500.
You better take it.
That can't be right.
Hold them to
Does
it,
that
hold
say
them to it.
$1,500?
Care if
No,
it
no,
does.
no, no.
It costs that much to remove
This
the
is
tree.
the sidewalk cap and removal. See that?
Just sidewalk.
Okay, that's that piece of the
So
sidewalk.
that's repair the black corner wall plus removal of the tree. That includes anchoring the wall with a heavy metal plate plus pouring a new concrete section in the corner.
That's not right.
Not right, no.
20,000 off.
Bid is for concrete cap by sidewalk material, labor, and removal of old concrete. Total cost $190.
$90 on the front, on that front, where that's broke away. Then it was $1,500, so the total bid is gonna be $1,690.
One better call him before we'll take them, please. In a heartbeat.
Yeah, if they mean it, I wouldn't pass that
Well,
up.
if we hadn't had that previous one, we
Yes.
probably wouldn't even be wide-eyed right now, but.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, you get nothing done for 1,500 anymore.
Okay,
Cautious.
but can
I make a motion to accept that if he'll do it for that, after you talk to him.
okay.
I'll second it, quick.
Motion by Elton, seconded by Doug to accept Norris's bid.
You think he's listening, gonna call up and pull his bill or what?
Sure he's gonna.
I will call him in the morning.
You couldn't do better with a gun.
That's way off,
Okay.
way off.
Or sent you in.
Yeah. Still?
Okay, this time on their agenda is discussion of the bumper cards. Do we wanna, how we wanna pursue them this summer at the arena? There's been some discussion that we might wanna advertise them more, lower the rates on them. I wanna know what the board's feelings are. Last weekend, the girl worked down there 12 hours, we took in $30.
Yeah, but you know, I drove by there and it looks like there's nothing there. There's not a car to place, there's no reason for me to stop there.
Yeah,
Nothing.
we need to advertise it.
Yeah.
We need to advertise it in the, especially, and I think we ought to target Fort Drum. They got a lot of families over there.
Tracy gave me a card from some people at Fort Drum, and he's talked to
We
Ronnie.
gotta put
Thompson.
something in front of the place.
He's talked to Ronnie Thompson about.
The complaint
people at
I-
Fort Drum, and I also think we should advertise it in the TI Sun.
The complaint I'm getting is there too much money. That's what I'm getting.
I'm hearing that too, the rate's too high.
The rate's too high.
For $10 for 15 minutes,
20 minutes, isn't it, Tracy?
10 minutes.
20 minutes.
How many? Drop it down 5 hours, 10 minutes.
Trying to create some people in there, but.
Drop it down 5 hours, 10 minutes. Same thing.
Well,
Same thing.
when business is bad,
But it
that's
sounds
when they
better.
advertise, so
Yeah,
we
but
gotta do that.
I've talked with Tracy about it a little bit. The only thing that we came up with that made it any sense at all is maybe to try to offer a deal when 4 or 5 people rent the cars and give the 5th car for free or 5th car for half price. If we do what you're talking about, it's really the same price. It's $5 for 10 minutes, $10 for 20 minutes. Any suggestions?
Well, the sandwich board, I mean, we gotta have more than that.
Gotta have
Yeah,
something
but
front
if
of the
you- If you
place.
leave the sandwich
We've
board
got a
up, I
sign
know
out
this,
front also.
that's my feeling from being in business. If you
There
leave
is
the
a big
sandwich
sign
board
out
up,
front.
the
Yeah,
same
paste
for
it on the
cars,
wall.
and they drive down the
You gotta put
road
it
and it's
when you're
closed,
driving down the road.
they're not gonna come back.
Right, right.
So we got up on the sandwich board, we gotta put when they're open. Or else we gotta take them down as soon as it's closed, because does anybody agree with me that
Yeah.
if you send them down there and it's closed, because you had a sign on the corner, they're gonna get pissed off and not come back?
Well, most
right?
businesses have to have regular
Hours.
hours of operation, and you can't really deviate from it.
So we can't
For
leave
the
the
reason
sandwich
you're
boards up
describing.
when the place isn't open.
No.
I
The only
agree.
day that's been done is on Sundays. when
Done
I'm
every
on
weekend.
vacation. Other than that, I have taken them down.
It's done every
Every
weekend
day
on Saturday
on
night.
my own time.
Well, we can try it.
Okay, just to give you, and this is actually on a good note, there won't be any room to use them this winter in the ice arena. Our winter schedule is booked solid.
Yeah.
Right now, we have 3 adult groups looking for ice time. And Tracy's, I believe you said we're going to 10 o'clock almost on Sunday night, 9:30, 10 o'clock?
We're going to 9:30 on Sunday nights now. We've never gone beyond 7.
We're booked solid for ice
That's a good
this
problem.
winter.
So that's why we'd like to give the bumper cars a good try, as good a try as we can this summer. Advertise them, get a deal out there. I think we should put an ad in the TI Sun. I think there's a lot of people that read the TI Sun that aren't locals that are here for the summer. I think we should do it whether it's the Sun or the Vacation or once a week.
Sure.
It's what is it, $30 a week, $40 a week for an ad there, times 10 weeks is $400, plus an ad in Fort Drum for $500 or $1,000. I don't know what they cost over there, but we're gonna look into it and find out. Try to do it all by the time school's out, which is in 2 weeks or a week.
What else can you do?
Can't you put it on the internet?
How about a coupon? Bring this coupon with some kind of a
We talked
Come
about
in
it. We
and-
talked about it, but we haven't figured out how to do it. Do you have any suggestions?
3, if you come in with 3,
In the paper?
yeah, just like the Clipper has the coupons, it's $5 off or whatever. But you could do it where bring in 5 people, charge for 4, the 5th one's free for the first 10 minutes, something.
Yep. Yep.
Sweeten the pot, sweeten the deal.
Coupons in the
I-
businesses.
Hmm?
You can put them in the businesses,
Yep.
Mhm.
Motel rooms?
yeah.
We have flyers in almost every hotel here in the bay.
People gotta think they're getting something.
They like the,
For
they
free.
like the coupon deal. They like the
Discounts.
Good idea.
Yeah.
But the coupon deal, I mean, we gotta go to all businesses and do it, or we're gonna do it in the paper?
No, I
I
just
mean, going to the
make it part-
businesses is more work.
make it part of our print ad, cut the
In the
thing out
paper,
and bring
right.
it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, all
Um,
right, I'm good.
we're good? Good with the discussion on that? We're gonna advertise them more?
Yep.
Okay. We had to change the Teamsters negotiation committee on the town part to we have relationship, we have Jim's brother works for the town, and Jim, of course, is the town board member. So at this time, Brett and I'll be doing the negotiations, because Allison and Doug did it last time, and we'll move forward from there.
Dale?
Subdivision law,
Jim's got a question.
yes, Jim?
It doesn't apply to brother-in-laws?
No, just
No.
brothers.
It
Just
doesn't?
brothers.
Nope.
No.
In your ethics, there's definitions. And a relative means a spouse, parent, step-parent, sibling, step-sibling, sibling, spouse, child, stepchild, or household member of a municipal officer of employee, and individuals having any of these relationships to the spouse of the officer or employee. So that would mean your wife's brother.
Either way, he's conflicted out.
Right, I know, but just for the record, I wanted to make sure that I was reading it right. Am I?
I'm still out, right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
Still out.
No, I'm wondering if it includes brother-in-laws. That's all. It's just, I wanted a clarification on it.
Darn it.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Subdivision law, we're gonna bring up next month, and try to get that moving forward.
You're gonna schedule the public hearing for next month, Dale?
Yes, we'll schedule a public hearing for July's meeting on the subdivision law.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot the one item under bumper cards. Would like board's approval to increase next year's rates at their ice arena this coming fall, increase them another $5
For skating.
for skating.
Yeah, okay.
For all
Yeah.
of,
For our customers, yeah. that's
Right.
fine.
Nice run.
For ice rental, yes. Could I have a motion from the board?
I'll make that motion, Ellen.
second.
Motion made by Jim, seconded by Brent to increase ice rental fees for upcoming season, $5 more.
Per hour?
Pardon?
Per hour?
Yes.
Thank you.
There's a chart that shows those rates right in our packet.
Right, there is a chart in your packet that shows the rates, there should be.
Yes.
If there's not, I have one in my office, I'll be happy to get it as soon as we get our new copier.
I think the rates last year were 75, right, Dale?
Right,
No, they were
There's a
70.
wide, there's a wide range of them.
right.
Is this what we gotta
That is?
sign? Do we have, is this it?
I don't know.
We've, thank you to the TI Sun and everybody. We got our senior citizen housing committee up and running, and it's a good committee. We had the CEO from River Hospital enjoy us, come and join us at our first meeting on 4th of June. And also the people from Clayton Home Improvement Association was down to help us do some of the work on the committee. At this time, we're gonna be applying for a grant to do a feasibility study in the area. And also, I touched bases with the town of Teresa, and they said they're very much interested in joining in this feasibility study. And it's gonna be based on low-income housing. We're gonna look at senior housing plus assisted living housing at the same time. And we'll see where it takes us from there. The next agenda is our Brownfield Robinson Garage, just to give you an update on that. We're hoping to have closure on that, and by the end of the year, they're moving along in a nice pace. And he told me that he'll give me a monthly update on it, so we can be pretty close to closure by the end of the year on it, and we can do what we want with the property after that.
Was there some money supposed to come in on that? Was there some money supposed to come in on that?
I don't know if there's any money to come in on that. I know we have 10% that we have to pay on it. And we had to just update the grant here not too long ago to show them that we were still interested. It's been an ongoing situation, and it's the people doing
We
the
get
work over there.
we get reimbursed for expenses.
Right, we
yeah,
get reimbursed for our
90%.
If we
expenses.
turn around and sell it, we lose it all, correct?
Depending on what we sell it for.
Okay. What's the stipulation on that, Jeff? Do you remember? Just curious.
I've gotta review it,
No, okay.
it's been so long.
Well, we have title to it, so
Well, We've got the same issue
we can-
with the county.
Dale,
Right.
We will.
Right,
we will have title to it when it's all done.
We have title to it
We
now,
have title now.
right. We
right.
have title from the county, so that we can pursue the brownfield grant. What Ellen's referring to is the agreement with the county is if we sell it, we have to reimburse the county for the unpaid real property taxes that they're out, up to the amount that they're out, whatever that figure is. If we retain it for public use or not-for-profit use or whatever other use, we may retain it as a municipal property, or we don't, we had one discussion we don't owe the county anything unless we get money for it, so that's the deal there. But it was the only way we were gonna get it to clean it up.
Okay, and our next item is the fence ordinance, and we had a little thing going on with trees growing up in St. Lawrence Park Road, and the branches were coming over onto the neighbor's yard. And by talking to Joe, Joe told me to refer him back to his legal counsel to see if the branches, that the neighbor could cut the branches on his own property line. In doing so, that's how we cleared up the issue up there with the tree fence
Yeah,
in St. Lawrence Park.
the issue there is, as you may recall, the particular tree line that's there on that side of the property, we didn't, because of the way our ordinance was adopted, before we did the new zoning law and incorporated it in the new zoning law, there was a question about the enforceability against that property owner. So the complaint that Dale got from the neighbor, we wouldn't have been able to do anything about, even if it was a violation of the fence law, because he was grandfathered.
And that's just to bring everybody up to date
As
on
far
it.
as the issue of encroaching on the property with the branches, that's a civil matter between the two of them.
Right. Asking board's permission for Zumba to continue at the ice arena at this time,
Yeah.
okay? And at this time, we'll have Rick from Bernier and Carr give us an update on the chamber building, I believe, right?
Right. So tonight I wanted to update you and go through 3 or 4 things. I put together, one of the things that has to be done is I need a resolution from the board to apply for the grant. And part of that resolution is for the costs. So when I went down and looked at the building, put together a priority list of all of the items. And I'd like to have the board give me an idea of your thoughts on what are the highest priorities and sort of what is your threshold of pain, so to speak, as far as money goes, because
Roof.
it's a 50-50 match, so whatever the bottom line is, half of it would be part of New York. So here, I put some pictures together too, so.
Bottom line is way out of rate.
So,
You can settle for 10,000, we'll take it.
Yeah.
So there's some pictures that show the building, but, so these were 12 items. When I went through the building with Brent and Ron Thompson, these were the things that we talked about and taking a look at it. It's pretty self-explanatory. The recommendation I would make would be to do your roof and your masonry work, and accessibility, because accessibility is a big issue with any grant application, and this one specifically, if you can improve accessibility.
Number 7 you're talking about, the $15,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Rick, on that item right there, how would we do that without like taking away from the character of those front steps? Is there a way to do it, or?
Well, what I'm proposing is that we build along the alley there, and you remember where the connector used to be when the St. Lawrence Grand, when it used to be part?
Yep.
Well, there's a former doorway that's there, so you'd come in on that side, so it wouldn't take away from the front of the
Beautiful,
building.
yeah, good.
The only issue is I'm a little unsure of your property lines there, so there might have
We
to
do
be.
have a survey.
Yeah, is there,
There is a survey somewhere on that.
is that something you can provide me? Is that something you could get? for me?
We did a survey on that one, see if
Yeah.
he was in office.
Yeah, I get to the
One
survey.
or
Okay.
two can be done together.
Yeah, the soffits are in bad shape. And then there used to be open gutters, but they've been covered over, which I wouldn't recommend you open them up again, but it would be a good idea to add gutters. And I did talk to Mike Putnam about relative costs for gutters and roofing. And then the stone steps, they're not in great shape. It's gonna be expensive to rebuild them. Maybe something you can wait on. There is some repointing work on the outside of the stone work that really should be looked at. And the vines really need to be taken down. They're,
Cut 'em off the ground, that'll
they're
end
not
it.
good for the masonry work. The windows, the windows are not falling apart, but they're not very energy efficient either. And with any historic building, when you go in to do window work, they want you to fix the windows that are there. So it gets expensive because you really have to take them out, rebuild them, weather strip them, and reinstall them, and then put wooden storms in, storm screen combination. So I didn't think it was gonna be a big deal until I started counting all the windows that you have, and they're big, so. There's some electrical, there's some knob and tube wiring, I took some pictures of it, it's a little scary. The lighting is poor, and the last piece, and if you look at one of the pictures, you've got, suspected asbestos containing materials there in the basement. I can't say definitively they are, but I could probably bet on it. And right now, you're using a propane monitor primarily for your heat instead of the oil-fired boiler system. So, you know, it might be a good idea to take a look at that. And that's, again, your roof would be the priority, and your masonry would be the priority, and accessibility. The other part of accessibility is the toilet room. One of the things I did here is that there is a toilet room, it's behind the reception desk. People come into the building, they ask to use the toilet, staff says no. If you've got a chamber building there and people are coming in, it would be a great place to have an accessible toilet. And I would say build it right near where the ramp is, where you come in with a ramp, and just build a new, leave the staff toilet alone and have a accessible toilet there. So that's open only when the chamber building's open, obviously, so. So that was the list. So what I really need for you is to tell me, and then, you know, on top of those, when we get to the, whatever the final total is, need to add a contingency amount and need to add, legal, technical, administrative costs, because those are all, you know, grant fundable as well, so. So what does the board have I see people.
I see we need the first three. We don't need the fourth,
Okay.
or we can't afford it, I should say.
Yeah, and after that, Rick.
I don't see anything again till the wood windows, 20,000.
Well, the heating system, that, I mean, even without the windows, a new efficient heating system would, I mean,
Where's that
Give you
one?
some long
it's
term.
12.
Yeah.
Well, is there, and we could go after this money, say in another year or two again, couldn't we, if we do
Could.
so much
Been
and
here a
then?
couple times.
Yeah, you can go for a couple times. If you wanna do the roof and the
One
soffit and the gutters, and I would say do some masonry work, you know, get the vines off, get some masonry work done. You know, add those numbers
Masonry
up
work done where? On the walls?
on the walls, yeah. Yeah, once you take the vines down,
Like
you're gonna
repointing
find,
and-
yeah, repointing, you're
Yeah.
gonna need some,
Where's
Point
the-
them back up again.
that was number 5.
First thing you do is put a roof on a building.
Yeah,
That's the first thing.
that keeps the building up.
That's right.
Yeah,
Your windows could wait. The accessibility piece, I would say, I think it's gonna help you get your grant if you're going for accessibility, because again, it's a big deal.
Can we do just the accessibility, what's everybody feel? Accessibility from outside more important than the toilet? I wouldn't.
Yes,
I mean,
actually,
my feelings from being downtown in business is, boy, when you start providing bathrooms for the
Yeah,
public,
you're in trouble.
look out. 'Cause
That's
you
right.
have got a major problem.
right. Well, you could do it,
You just took on a new job.
basically getting accessibility into
The
the
building.
building is the first priority,
I agree.
so.
So now we've got 1, 2, and 3, and then,
5,
5 and 7, is that, what does that add up to? 75.
Yeah.
We put new wiring in the building for 20 grand?
Well, that's a guess without, without doing extensive.
These are all
work.
guesses though.
Right.
They're all the same category, right?
Yeah, they're, based on historical
Yeah,
guesses.
yeah, educated guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, you've got a fuse, breaker panel in the basement. I'm assuming it's,
That's right,
everything's
there is
hooked
a-
into that. There's
So we just got some knotted
You
tube.
got some knotted
box.
tube,
That
yeah.
can't be hooked up.
That's a 200 amp panel, right?
I just
I
said.
think it is. That was a big panel.
That 200 amp panel?
I think it is, yes.
Panel right there.
Because there's a air conditioning system hooked up.
So we don't need that.
So, yeah, if you did the, like I said, if you did the 7, 5, and the other, you're up to about 100 grand, and, half of that would be your cost. So 100 plus another 25,000 in contingency and, legal technical costs. So if we work the grant to say that, the grant not gonna exceed 120, the application not gonna exceed 125, your half of that is gonna be.
So that's the limit, 125, we can apply for?
No, you can apply for $500,000.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Apply
We
for
gotta
half
come
of
up with
the-
50% of the money
But-
else.
No, I know,
But
I
the,
just wanted,
it's the resolution, and tonight's one of the nights that there's a chance to do the resolution, that goes with the grant application. And part of that resolution is an amount, so.
What's everybody feel about the boiler and the two $20,000 figures at the bottom?
let's hit that the next time, I think.
Yeah, I agree with
Let's
Alton
hit
on
that
that.
next time. Let's do this. these
The
here.
roof, I agree with Doug with that. The roof is most
Let's
important.
get the roof
We gotta
on
do
it.
the roof. 1, 2's gotta be done for sure.
Wouldn't take long to take the lines off.
You don't think we can get away without the gutters
84, 94,
You could get away without the gutters.
for now?
Yeah.
Do the roof and do the gutters later on,
Yeah.
99, so that
Let's
puts us
cross
down,
out the
that puts
gutters.
us down to 94
and do the,
plus, right?
let's do 1, 2, and
1,
Five
2,
and
5,
seven.
and 7,
Yeah.
94.
let's
Plus
try
the
that.
other stuff.
Right, so,
75,
Plus 10% is 9,500,
81,
20%.
84,000, or 94,000.
94, I got you.
Let's do that then.
All right.
94,000?
Well, it's really plus the 90, you gotta add 9,500 onto that, and you gotta add 18,000.
18,000, so.
So you got 27,000, you gotta add on to 94, so you got 121, don't you?
Mm-hmm. You're right, 121,000.
And half of that'll be covered
Plus-
hopefully.
Right,
Okay.
it's a 50% match, so.
Okay, so we wanna make a resolution to,
Try.
To apply for the grant,
Grant.
I sent some language down, I don't know if you got Alan.
Yes, and Dale's got a copy of it.
Okay. That it's basically, and maybe something Joe would take a look at, but,
Maybe he can give you a copy, if not, I'll give one to you.
that's just what their language they like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, just as long as I have a resolution to put in the package, that's all.
Yeah, if you just vote to authorize the resolution, I can prepare it, Joe.
I'll make
But
that
I'll
motion
need
that we vote to
the-
authorize the resolution, according to what we said here.
You wanna do it, you want me to do it? I'll need what you're,
We'll just copy it, get it over, back it over to your
do
business.
that, would you?
Surely.
I got an extra copy.
Allison seconded it.
But I
Oh,
mean,
thank you.
but I
Yep.
need the detail.
All in
of what they're
favor?
authorizing.
Yes.
Yes.
all opposed? Motion passed.
Which one?
Oh,
All that stuff.
so we're going
We
with,
could put you in limbo in there.
so we're going with
Okay.
5, 7, and then.
Did we apply for more grants?
Total of 121.
Yeah, I have a copy of that. Do you have an extra copy? Thank you very much.
Okay,
And
so.
then just the 10 and 20%.
Can we apply for more on existing buildings?
90, 10?
Yeah,
1, 2, 5, and 7.
no, not at night, then.
Thank you.
Oh,
Grab that one.
One-time deal.
you want like the geothermal?
Yeah, that's the wrong
397?
That's the wrong, that's 1090.
93 is 7, excuse me.
I don't know, I mean, last time I talked to RD, the grants were pretty slim to come by.
Yeah. You're gonna get a 90-10 for any community building probably. 90% you pay.
Yeah.
10% they
Well,
pay.
the loan you.
I had it reversed.
The loan you 90%. Yeah.
So it barely covers the extra administrative costs to go through it, so.
The other piece is, it asks for the seeker, it asks me to, in the application, to put in where you are in the seeker process. So-
Beginning.
You can do a short one.
Yeah.
We can do a short form, and this is the only lead agent,
Right,
it's
so-
only involved agency, so we can have that completed at the next meeting,
Okay.
so.
And then the last piece was
Is that a
that,
historic building?
yes,
Yes, both state and federal.
yeah, so,
Maybe a type one then.
Be unlisted.
yeah, I don't think so, Joe, I think,
Yeah,
but
but
you're
you do a
gonna,
coordinated review with one state agency?
No, but if it's,
Yeah.
if it's a historic, if it's on the historic register, it's automatically a type one. I
It
think.
is on the historical, I've
it
been
is,
told.
right, yeah, oh, yeah, that's the whole
Yeah.
point.
You
of
might be
this.
right.
I think it's automatic type one, but that just means they gotta do the long form,
Yeah,
so,
I can help you with
Doesn't
that.
have to be a
Joe.
coordinated review.
well, there is no other involved
Right.
agency, so. Yeah, can you prepare,
Yeah.
part one for me?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, and the last piece is that, in order to make our grant even better, I need letters of support. So I put together a draft letter so that, pass those around. So I need suggestions on agencies that you would be comfortable contacting, or I can contact them to get support. So basically, that this is a great thing for the town and the village, and they support so like Rotary,
Hearts for You.
Historical Society, if there's a board member over there who might be able to get that for you.
Having the Building and Grounds Committee meeting in the morning.
And any other group businesses, I don't know if you want to approach any businesses downtown that, you know, we could get them, just, I mean, you can just give them a copy of this and say, can you please put this on your letterhead, and, you know, the more that we have, the more that will, you know, be good, get the mayor to issue a letter,
Yeah,
just,
the
you know,
village.
village, yeah, so if you could do that, that would be helpful. Do that, okay?
All right.
And, so I'll work with Mr. Russell, and we'll get the rest of these things in, and,
They can do seeker in July as long as you can get me the,
Yeah.
long form.
yeah, I've gotta have it in on the 16th, so when's your next?
July meeting is,
I think it's just, yeah.
yeah.
Gonna be in at the same time as the small.
It's all part of the whole consolidated funding.
Meeting's on the 11th.
Process is, all of these grants get submitted together. And then they get sent to the Regional Economic Council, the meeting that was last night. The council reviews them and they score them, and they give them points.
Mm-hmm,
And then it goes to Albany, and Albany makes the final decision, so that's,
right.
so.
At the same time, our Main Street, grant's gotta be in.
Yes, and on that topic.
So, I'm done, so,
Next
thank you.
resolution,
Right here. This is more to come.
just remind me, yeah.
Okay. Moving on, then, this is a resolution for the town of Alexandria to act as lead agency in a grant application to the New York State Office of Homes and Community, renewing and applying for the Main Street Grant Program. This is a joint application between the town of Alexandria and the Economic Development Committee. It's whereas the Town of Alexandria Board supports the Economic Development Committee and its mission to enhance the economic development of the Town of Alexandria. And whereas the New York State Main Street Program goals are to stimulate the economy, revitalize the mixed use of business centers by providing financial incentives for the rehab of traditional building stocks, and whereas the New York State Main Street Program seeks to foster business development, thereby providing economic opportunities and promoting economic activities in a traditional downtown location, and whereas the New York Main Street program will expand affordable housing opportunities in a mixed-use district, including accessibility upper floor units, and whereas the New York State Main Street program provides opportunities to increase the capability of local government and community-based nonprofit organizations to undertake community renewal programs at the local level and market the district to prosper in business and residential. And as where the program will efficiently plan, process the insurance that the capital investment of public funds will enhance in the economy of the commercial district throughout the appropriate design and respect to the historical architect and target area. And whereas the Economic Development Committee intends to prepare the necessary information for the town of Alexandria's application for funding through the New York Main Street program. Now therefore being resolved that the town of Alexandria Board agrees to be the applicant for this submittal of the Main Street program application, and hereby supports the Economic Development Committee on their efforts to improve the downtown area of Alexandria Bay. Yeah,
Yes.
so I guess I need a motion on that resolution.
Make a motion that we approve that resolution.
What was that resolution again?
Tell them to quit the lawyer talk and talk plain.
I'll second it now,
Okay, motion by Brent, seconded by Jim. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Can I have a vote on the motion, please? All in favor?
Yes.
All opposed? Motion passed. Okay, the next resolution in front of me is resolution number 129. This is to endorse the plan of the BB7 to regulate the outflow of Lake Ontario and the management of levels of Lake Ontario and the St. Lawrence River. As you probably already know, there's two plans out there, and everybody along the river up through here is supporting this resolution, number 129. It's to help the people along this river in this community and other communities up and down this river to extend their business a little bit later on in the fall, to keep the water levels up another 2 to 3 inches. And we would like to pass this resolution if we could.
I'll make a motion to pass the resolution.
This is to support the
Supporting,
BB7.
BB7.
I'll second. Motion by Jim, seconded by Alcid. Is there any discussion on this resolution? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. At this time, okay, at this time, I have no further discussion, as if any of the board members do.
All I have is, everybody get a copy of I worked with Bill and I worked with Tracy, and we did profit and loss statement on the rink for last year. I think you guys have all got a copy of it. Okay. And the only other thing is that, Joe, from reading our procurement policy, anything between $5,000 and $19,999, there's 3 written quotes.
Correct.
And if we ask for written quotes and we only get 2 written quotes, we're covered.
Yes, you have to request 3.
Correct.
Just like if you advertise for bids, you only get 1, you can accept it, so.
So, Alan, that's what we'll do with this gas boy situation, is we'll put something in the paper and we will ask for,
No, I have no problem doing it, it's just that I do not know anything about gas boys, so I cannot.
I'll get together with you so that we can
Okay.
put together a description of what we're
Okay.
looking for.
Gotta have specs. You
Okay.
put it out.
What's that?
Gotta have specs for you, bid it out.
Right, to put.
Yeah.
And we can open that in the July meeting,
Okay, that's fine,
Okay.
okay?
I just don't understand those
I
issues.
just wanna make sure that we had that, so, that's all I
We'll
had.
get that taken care of. Does anybody, any of the other board members, or anybody else have anything to bring forward at this time?
Dale, you wanna cover the bid results from the?
Yeah, do you wanna talk about that a little bit, Rob?
Sure
Today
will.
on Otter Street Water, we opened up the bids, there was 2 bidders. Rob, you wanna?
2 bidders, Marcellus Construction and Seaway Earth and Pipe, $1,234,000 and $1,282,000 were the 2 bids, with Marcellus being the apparent low at this time, and it fits right into our construction budget. Our total construction budget was $1,280,000 about, so it still leaves us with about $40,000 to $50,000 contingency.
Who got it, Marcellus?
Marcellus.
Good.
Again, that was for how much?
It's for $1,234,950. So we're reviewing those now. They'll go to USDA, they'll have to review them, there'll be a pile of paperwork to submit, and there'll be more to come. We do have a few choices to make. We have some alternates, whether to put the crossing of Otter Street on the bridge or under the creek. So there'll be a few items we'll have to discuss like that to make some.
As they call it, submarining it, right?
What's that?
They use the term submarining it, or something to that terminology. Burying the pipe under the Otter Street Bridge,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, submarine, put it in the bottom.
Yeah.
Right, we actually blast the trench and put it underneath. There's some advantages and disadvantages. Putting it on the bridge, it's more subject to damage, salt that comes off the bridge, and,
Low bid was $42,000 over our estimate, I believe, right?
yeah, the construction cost estimate was, the estimate that we did was $1,170,000, but we had a $115,000 contingency. So the total construction estimate was $1,280,000. So it still gives you a 4 or 5% contingency, which is fine.
Yep.
We need to say something about, we went to the cemetery with Marilyn.
Oh, yes.
We went to the Highland Park Cemetery, there's been the vault there, that we had, supposedly had a key here, and we went and did an inventory and looked at the cemetery and the vault. The vault's being worked on by Gary Rogers, it's a volunteer deal. There's some problems with the roof that Gary's been working on, the supports inside are pretty rotten. We found 3 push mowers and a riding mower and some tools and stuff. I think we'd like to ask the town to clean that out. Are you okay with that? It's just a bunch of junk in there, big old wooden boxes.
Sure.
And there was also, we looked at the road, there's been some requests by some people up there to put some crush and run down. Because it's pretty bad when you pull in, it's real bad actually when you pull it in and there's a collapsed pipe. So we'd like to put some crush and run and get that road fixed up a little bit.
Dave can do that?
I'm not sure if Dave can do that. Dave's gonna be busy, but we'll ask,
He can do that.
we'll ask Dave to do that, if everybody's in agreement.
I mean, it's not, anything's gotta be up tomorrow, right? We just have it
Right.
fitted in there.
All right.
This is Dave goes back.
Do people have to drive through that thing every day, every day, every day?
They do.
They got a mud hole in there big as this room.
Gets to the other side.
I was wondering who plows it. Anybody know who plows it?
I don't think it's plowed.
Those doesn't go through there?
It shouldn't be plowed unless it's
I don't think we're plowed.
necessary for a funeral or something.
I did get some more information on the cemetery. I talked to the priest tonight, and I think Alan knows this, and some of the board should. The town gave, where we looked, gave a lot of, quite a
Chunk of land to the Catholics.
yeah, because you weren't gonna sell lots anymore.
No, it's abandoned.
You can't
We
sell
gave
lots according to
property
law.
it. Remember that, Joe?
Yeah.
We can't sell lots?
You cannot sell a lot according to law once the town takes it over.
On an abandoned cemetery.
What are we gonna do with all the land? Just
I don't know.
Not only that, there's a problem up there with, water too.
But on the upper end,
Right,
that they sold, that's all dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gave it to the church.
We gave it to the
Because
church.
we weren't
sold
gonna
it,
sell lots.
gave
Gave
it.
it to them.
I
Well,
think
once the
what
town
do
takes
you
that
do
over, we
with
can't
all
sell
the-
lots anymore?
Can't sell lots. They had
Where
a
do
meeting
you
in
put
Watertown the
people?
other day.
If you have property there, you can use it. It's an abandoned cemetery. We don't sell lots.
No.
We're
So
not a
what does
cemetery business.
everybody in the town, if you own 6 cemeteries, where's people gonna go?
Are all of our 6 cemeteries abandoned cemeteries?
They're all abandoned, that's why we have them.
So there's only one cemetery in the Catholic cemetery you can go in?
Well, they're Barn Pluses and the Catholic cemetery. There's 3
And not only
cemeteries.
that, there's such a problem with the map, remember Elsie?
Yeah, it's all screwed up.
I've been up there and walked the cemetery looking,
But if you have a lot
and
there,
it's,
You
you
can
can use it.
Yes, but you can't buy
If you
one.
have a plot there, you can be buried
Well,
there.
I own 6 there, my
And you
mother's
can-
being buried in a funeral up there,
And you can use it. But I couldn't buy one.
next Saturday.
Where'd you find out all that information?
Oh, this is
State,
old.
state.
Yeah,
yep.
they had
Yeah,
a
we've
meeting
known
the
this
other
for a
day in
while.
Marshall. I talked to the guy, went out and,
Ask Skip, he knows where all that
you know,
stuff.
So you're saying if somebody's been born, brought up here and they can't be buried there, then
Not if they don't have,
can't buy
not
a
if they don't
lot?
have, no, you can't buy a lot.
Families there. that
So
are not-
that only leaves Redwood, Plessis?
No, it leaves Barn, Plessis, and the Catholic cemetery in Highland Park.
where's the
Somebody
Catholic
told me you had to
one?
be a
Redwood?
Catholic to be buried in that cemetery.
Where's the Catholic one, Elsie?
Right next to
Redwood?
No, right next to
Redwood's
Highland
in
Park.
Teresa. Redwood has their cemetery
Yeah,
in
but
the
where's the
town.
Catholic one?
Up there, same place.
On the
Highland
other
Park.
side of Highland.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
On the,
okay, yeah, yeah, okay.
No, I don't think there'll be Catholic.
I know what you're talking about. No, that's a screwy law, I don't understand it.
Don't you think we ought to check into the state and see if we could do something about this? This isn't right.
Is there a way that we can give up ownership of it?
No.
No,
That's why it went
that's
broke.
it.
They went
Is there a
broke,
way we can make them unabandoned?
they gave up their charter and gave it back to us, see?
We gave you $7,800 too that we had left, because I was a member of that
Yep.
The only,
association.
the only problem is, Tinker, a lot of, how can I put this? A lot of the grave sites don't have headstones, so you're not sure where you're
You
digging.
can't, we could sell you something, you could be digging it up, and somebody might, my grandfather might be there for all we know.
Tell me about it, there's 11 babies buried behind the vault, and
Yeah.
everybody dumps trash on it.
That's sad.
We got some maintenance issues up there, there's no question, at all of them, actually. So,
That's what I said, we're gonna have to revisit that this fall at the
Have
budget
you ever
time.
seen the map, Tinker?
Oh, yes, I was on that board, I know all, and I grew up by that cemetery.
Okay, who asked me? Oh, there's, Dave Schreiber asked me, maybe he sent you a letter, if we could support Homer Cemetery. Homer Cemetery is in the town of Alexandria.
Yeah.
They're looking for donations.
They all are.
And he had been to a meeting in Watertown, he's the one that informed me all about this.
We have one in Wellesley Island too.
Yep,
Do,
yes, we have one in Wellesley Island,
that makes 7.
a nice cemetery over there.
No, we don't
Beauty.
own it.
That one's
We don't own
private.
that one,
No, it's
that's
operating.
that's an
That's
operating
private.
cemetery, yeah.
But isn't there some money, I think Joe could find this out, there's a restoration, office or something in Albany where
There is a restoration office in Albany, yeah.
I thought so. And I'm sure if we get into a problem with them looking bad, they'll,
Oh, there's a definite cemetery board down there.
Well, Omar is operating, they have Omar Cemetery Association that's operating.
Just for me. Oh, thank you.
Dave said they're,
I could get off my duff.
they're going downhill all
They all
out.
are, they
On
all are.
money, yes.
Yeah.
No,
There is
that's
no-
who I talked to, Dave Schreiber.
There's no maintenance up there, that's where my dad's family's buried, my mom's buried there. There's absolutely no maintenance up there.
Well,
You have to
they
do your
sold,
own.
they sold the professional care back then for $5.
Right, right.
You know, now.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
Mark's.
just as a side note, you ought to see Skip Weller's map of the cemetery. It's on a roll-down shade. It is.
Dave told me they had 20,000 left in perpetual care that they cannot touch.
Can't touch that.
Because that's to year after year.
That's the
see.
principle, you're not
It's
supposed to,
a,
you
yeah,
don't
you
touch
can only
that.
use, you can only
There's two
use it
different
in
accounts.
Perpetual
About the
care.
cemetery?
You buy perpetual
There's two
care.
different accounts, and
Life.
one of them you can't touch the principal. You
We
can
got
only-
one right down